everyone. I'm Harikamni. Welcome back to another podcast of Let's Talk About That. Today I have a very special guest. She's Shloka. She's a model, entrepreneur, and have so many things that I don't even know about. So we can talk to her and find out. And let's welcome her.
Hi,
Please.
Ivy.
Hi.
Wow, I'm doing this, huh? Finally.
So, a small story that I've been
Okay.
telling you about. So, when I first saw you, I saw you on Ankita's Instagram, and then I was like, oh my god, she's so pretty. Like, how is she this pretty? And then I really saw you in one of her events, and I was like, she's really pretty. Like, I was like, oh my god. And then the thing was, so there is this misconception that girls who are really pretty or who are like models who like do all that, they're a little mean and all of that.
know.
But you came up to me, you were like, hi, and then you spoke to me really well. I was like, okay, is this for real? Like, is she really this sweet? And then you were really warm. Like, the impression that you have given me, the way you spoke to me, that I think I was all alone. And then I think I was mostly like catching up with you. And then I remember people coming to you and were like, can we have a selfie? I remember some girl posted a story also. I remember it. So that's what happened. And I'm really, really, really happy to have you here. And I can't wait to see what you have for our viewers. And another thing, I think all of the new upcoming entrepreneurs who are young, who are trying to start something new, I think you'll have a lot to take from her. So stay tuned. So I really want to start with understanding how is little Shloka like,
Okay.
because I feel like everything starts from childhood for some reason. So how were you as a child? Like,
Okay, I think, or I really know this for sure. I was a really cute kid. I need to start with that because if I met that kid, I myself will probably be squeezing her. I was like this chubby kid, and mom used to take me out, like whenever they used to go on date nights or whatever.
oh,
And my the waiters would come and they'd be like, "Oh, my ma'am, is it okay if I can?" I'd be like, "Yeah, please take me," like. And I was such a kid that I would like to go meet people. I would like to go sit around. They would just come and pick me up. And I think I was like the most bubbly, most smiling. I was very, very, I was never hands on. Like my mom would never have a feeling like, oh my God, this kid is too much. I would just go with anybody and I would live with my mama. They all would be like, oh, we miss her. When I'm going back home, mom will be like, okay, I miss her more than, you guys, I need to take her back. So it was like that. And curious, I don't know. I used to love that until my sister came and she took all the limelight. I was I was all happy. I was the most bubbliest. Like I said, I can keep going on just saying that. That's all I remember looking at it. But when I grew up, like after 5, 7, I realized that I remember things vividly from 1 years old.
Ooh.
So yeah, I
That's
think I was way more matured. But this specifically as a like an infant or toddler, yeah, I think I was really like waiting to live the world types. Yeah.
On that note, do you have any memory that you remember very vividly, even now?
Okay, I think it's very, mom gets really creeped out a bit. So I remember my tata. I think I was 1 or 2. I don't exactly know. We lost him when I was 2 years old. So I very vividly remember my tata's face, and he was when I knocked on his door, and he was like, "Kaun hai?" So I remember everything so vividly. But I was just 1, 1.5, 2, I guess. That is one memory, and I love him. Like whatever my mom keeps talking about his stories, I'm so like in awe of like, oh, I wish he was there for too long. I could have enjoyed him more.
Yeah.
But that one thing that keeps bringing me up, like it's always so fresh. Yeah.
Wow. That's actually interesting. You remember your grandfather.
Yeah, even I'm like, I don't know how I do, but I remember.
That's
Yeah.
nice. Maybe that's the love. Okay.
Yeah.
On that note, moving on a little bit in another direction,
Okay.
was there ever a time where you thought you were misunderstood or you were like, they're just not getting me, like I'm just a kid, like you wanted to do something and they were like, no, you can't do it. Like, was there ever that?
I think being the elder daughter, or like the first kid, like my parents are super protective about me. So not about misunderstanding, but how do I put this? It was more like that fear and that, this girl is so,
Soft.
naive, and she probably. So it was more like if I would say this, and I would listen to everything they would say. Um, are you talking about my really like 7, 8 years old, or in general about my
7,
child?
8 at that time.
I
Mm. Maybe when you were in like second class, first.
I think my mom would be like, no, not that much. Small things like I can't see. So I got my glasses when I was in second class.
Wow.
So my mom was like, how can she not see? I'm like, so it was like silly, stupid things like that. But I was like this good girl. Mommy would say something and I would listen, and I was very quiet. After my sister came back, and I suddenly felt this responsibility or something. It's too mature for my age, like I said. I would listen to everything, but like, yeah, small things like, mom, I can't see, like I'm not able to see the board, though I'm like a first bencher. She's like, bro, the blackboard is right in front of you. And yeah, small things like that, yeah, easily like misunderstood, and I don't say things much. Like, does she really, like, she doesn't communicate, and sudden గా వచ్చేసి కనిపించట్లేదు, like, or something like that. And again, school ఆ timeలో teacher's pet. I was like the teacher's pet. I was a good kid, yeah.
Good kid, so no
Never.
scope.
I used to be like, okay, mom probably doesn't want me to do it, so I would just like keep quiet, yeah.
Very nice. I was complete opposite. I was like such a naughty.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got lost once. And I went, there was a Ganesh Nimarjan happening. I ran out like dancing in the Bharat. Like I went somewhere on the main road. I was literally in like first class or UKG. I don't remember. My watchman comes running. I was like, your dad is searching for you. I went running back into the house. I was hiding under the bed. My dad was like, hurry, where are you? I'm like, I was under the bed only. I didn't go anywhere. I was like, come out. So,
I think I'm that now.
oh.
I'm living that, that childish era, and like being all the child. I want to be pampered and all now. For a good amount of time, I was like this, no, I will listen to my parents. I'm a good girl, like that, yeah.
All right. That's very interesting. On that note, again, like what was the kind of love that you saw growing up
Okay.
around you? Like maybe relatives, parents, or like friends' parents? Like how was it like?
Okay, first, let me tell you, like, my parents are the most romantic, okay?
Wow.
So I didn't have to probably learn from the movies. They were this most romantic couple they could be with each other. At times, like, even I would feel embarrassed for my dad, like in a way that, as kids we watch TV together and like with our parents, and my dad loves English movies. Now when I say English movies, there's no way that the kissing scene wouldn't happen or any of that. And my dad would immediately change, like, okay, this is too much for the kids and all. My mom was like, why? No, let them see. How will they learn and all? At that point, I didn't understand. But then, when I grew up more, she's like, look, so nicely he's kissing. And I'm like, Mom, I don't want to see that. And I was like, I would be, Mom, you being embarrassing. But trust me, I think I should give it to my mom, honestly. Like, she is so open even about sex education or any of that. Like, she was like, if not, how will you know? And in general, they were like, cuddly. And I want to tell you one funny story, okay? So we were like the most, the kids. My sister always was clinging onto my mom, and I was like this dad's girl, okay? But now it's a little like I'm like, no, I have to be this girl, elder daughter thing. But as kids, no, we used to pounce on each other. So bed paina, dad used to sleep, mom used to sleep on top of him, then me, and then my sister, okay?
So cute.
Sudden ga oka call vaste, now I'm like, who's going to pick up the call? I used to rush with me and my sister. I used to rush, picked up. Now this was my mom's best friend, okay? Enti mummy em chestundi? I could have said anything. Mummy daddy paina padukotundi. And mom was like, what are you saying there? I don't know what they're going to think about it. And I was like, mom is just sleeping on top of dad. And then, she's like, even now that aunt comes, mummy, inka me daddy para padukuntunda. And I'm like, oh God, dude, like, I was such this thing I wouldn't know, but they were just like that. Like, I think I knew more about love, or how to probably be with your husband or like your people. It is more of that. And I should give it to mom. And because of that, my dad got even more comfortable to express what he feels for my and for my mom, and he probably cannot live without her. And the same with my mom as well. With
That's so sweet.
yeah.
That's so sweet.
I think whatever you see me giving so much love is probably coming from there.
Yeah. That's nice actually. That's a good side to have when you're as a kid. Like
Yeah.
it sets tone.
It's like a foundation that you get to see your parents like that. You are never not expressing love. Like it's that seed that they put in the fertile soil. For us, especially, like, oh, you can be like this. I am, and like even friends or whoever, I think I've never seen my friends' parents be like that as much as my
Yeah.
parents were. So I was like, wow, that's really cute. Now they've set a standard for me.
Yeah, my mom really would get fever if I talk about sex.
You.
She will not be able to sleep. So yeah, it's probably something good actually.
Yeah.
Different. Moving on to the most, I think I would say the phase where we are like, understanding ourselves, like our
Okay.
teenage years.
Okay.
So, and that is when our body starts changing. We start to form opinions.
Yeah.
We start to like talk like what we feel,
Yeah.
and we are most probably judged at that time. And there is
dark
a
phase.
lot, yeah, the dark phase. So a lot of external noise is there. So
Yeah.
how did you handle that, and how did that change you, or how did that shape you as a person you are today?
I think that somehow you can't like control that, right? It happens to all of us. Somehow that's what kind of starts. That's when you start to think. But unless that doesn't happen, you won't know what's that transition. Like you are still living that teenage, the starting teenage. It just feels like you're still a child.
Yeah.
But once somebody comes and tells you certain things, it's like, oh, you're supposed to behave like that. Oh, am I that age? Like now this is level 2, is it? But they kind of do. They do shape you. But it's only after that, and when you are almost in the very mid section, is when you try to understand that, okay, I am something too. Like, if not for that, I probably wouldn't know what I need to change. This is not mine. This was given to me, and this was somebody else's opinion, but that's not me. That is a very, I don't know if it's difficult, but it's a very challenging time for all of us. And I think it's from there when you actually will blossom. So you have no other go but go through it. But how you actually change yourself is, again, how you align yourself into it, and how you probably know yourself more. I was that kid at that point of time. I started getting really silent. So like I told you, from bubbly, like this girl who's been pampered, to a girl suddenly felt like I had some responsibility to live in, and I had no idea about it. And because of the oldest to everybody was like, hey, you're the older one, like you should be a certain. I'm like, I didn't know like it was something like this. After that, I started to get more silent, started going more inside, and keeping things inside me. Started having more conversations inside, and I had no idea. Now it probably helps me, but at that point of time, they used to be like, chala silent ka undi papa, me your elder kid, it doesn't talk at all. But I think I was observing. I was observing, and I was knowing why is that change, what has happened. Questions were a lot. I think that kind of helped me. But that is what helped me to align for who I am right now, even more in a better way. And hopefully that is going to change when I'm going to see somebody. I know how to make them feel, how I felt at that point of time, and I know exactly how I'll make them feel. Yeah.
Nice. So on that note, were you like always trying to prove yourself, or were you trying to figure yourself out in your early and like mid-teenage years? How was the scene like?
It was like a mix of both. Initially, see, again, it was like, they expect you, like teenagers, like you're still trying to understand what your body is like. Suddenly there's a lot of change. Then they say like, oh, sit like this, and I'm like, okay, so there's so many people telling you different things, and you're like, okay, what do I do? Is this okay? Is this fine? I'm asking for validation and all that. after a point, you're like, there comes a stage in life, at least for me, it happened, where like, okay, I'm enough. Like, we all look like we've been manufactured.
Yeah.
In that
Yeah.
age, like, it's like you're slowly manufacturing, and everybody's trying to be like that. That's when your first periods come. And especially when you're in this co-ed school, suddenly, like, somebody's, on the PT day, somebody's white skirt is like with the red, that Japanese flag
Yeah.
laga, and you're like, how do you react?
Mhm.
Like, oh, how do you say? Will they feel whatever? So when you see like your own peers getting through one by one, what happens and how you're with each other, is when you realize that, okay, let me just know and understand, if I go through this, what will they feel and how will I feel? So I want to be more comfortable and to say somebody that, oh, this is what has happened, like, do you need help?
Mm.
That's when I think we as women start to like, be there for each other,
Yeah.
and be like, okay, if there's anything like that, let me know. Don't fret. It happened to me. It didn't, right? Like, I'll help you.
Mm.
So that kind of changed in me, and I didn't even realize. Like, that's when that figuring out started. Like, oh, without when I got my periods and I was telling mom, the first thing is like, mom, and she understood. But thanks to certain things that you were taught from home, that figuring out and not trying to be like, okay, this is not me, this is how I like it, that'll only happen like when you're with your friends.
Mm.
Okay, dude, I really didn't like this part, I don't know how to deal with this, and they would be like, okay, see, this is how I dealt with in general any situation that happens in your life. And there was one situation, again, because I'm talking about periods.
Yeah.
Now we as girls are going through this. Once so happened that we saw our own teacher actually having like a red, and she was like having a very bad state. I mean, like, she was bleeding and she really didn't know, and she was like writing on a thing. Now it was on our side because she had no idea.
Mm.
We didn't know how to. So all these situations, somehow something just happens and you just know like how you could maneuver.
Handle it,
And
yeah.
that's when you're like, oh my god, you did something that kind
Actually
of helped
impacted,
somebody.
yeah, somebody in a
Yeah.
good way.
Yeah. And then you were like, okay, you could do this too.
Yeah.
Like, you can be there for somebody, you can be there for yourself. And then those are very beautiful moments that happen to you. Like, oh, I think I can take care, like I can do big girl things. Yeah, I think those situations, just those are very precious for yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember when I was in like sixth grade or something, my friend told me like my stomach is paining. I was like, what happened? Is it whisper problem? And then she goes like, yeah. I was so excited to get my first period. When I first got it, I was so happy. I went talking to mom. I was like, see. She was like, are you stupid? Like, you're, I don't think it's right. I was like, it is true, come. And she was like, oh. Then I called all my friends. I was like, bro, I got my period. I'm
That's
so
so
happy.
sweet.
But then now I hate it.
Yeah.
On the flip side, because of the pains.
Of the pain, yeah.
But I was
go
very
through a lot.
excited for that.
There was one kid, okay, she had no idea. She thought she got cancer. And I mean, at that point of time, I was
Oh my
feeling
God.
like I was feeling really bad. And I'm like, no, no, no. See, we all go through it. This is what happens. And she's like, I had no idea. So, when these moments happen, suddenly you feel like, oh, but only like, again, like slowly, universe throws like big balls at you, like, okay, now you can. But during that time, if those situations don't happen, is you don't know, like, you don't need your parents for that. You can take care. You don't need to prove anything. It's fine. If there's anything, you can probably work on yourself. So, and I can say there are many times that my mom has been like, it's okay, if you've done a mistake, something just happens, you will know. And maybe that also stuck with me, wherein I won't know, but when if it happens, I think I can probably put that confidence on myself. I can figure things out. So yeah.
How were you like in amongst your friends? Like, were you like somebody who's like, if something happens, oh my God, I'm so sorry it happened, or like, yeah, it happened, like let's deal with it. Like, how were you like in the school? Like, how was that?
I should say, I had this situations where I was very fearful, but when things happened, I would kind of like
Change in personality.
yeah, okay, few seconds I would just be like, oh my God, like that. And when the situation just comes and you have, like, it's a do or die moment, I just do it and then come back. I'm like, how did I just do that? Like, what just, and I was, I loved Hanuman. And I always used to have this imaginary thing, like, oh, he saved me today,
Yeah.
like, and I was like this, the universe is with me, though I didn't have any idea. And mom was very religious, so she would be like, anything happens, you tell Hanuman will help you. I'm like, okay. So I always felt like, there's somebody working with me, like a team. Like, oh, I would just secretly say things and suddenly, how do I do it? And then suddenly something happened. So I used to feel like when this, this girl in the movies, Chinnappa, Pillalu, where they would have the superpower and that chakalaka boom boom and those pencils and all. I got things for myself wherein I really felt that was real. Like, I know, Hanuman will just tell me. I will know what to do. So suddenly things will just, fall into place like that.
Yeah, I do that now actually.
Yeah.
So there was one astrologer. So my
Yeah.
dad showed my Jatakam and everything.
Yeah.
I didn't know my Jatakam had so many like like if this, then that, and this.
Yeah.
And he asked me to write Ramakoti, okay, every day, like one page.
Okay.
And that is like my time with God, where I just write it and I talk. And like, this happened, that happened, how did this happen? I even like talk to myself, like, God, like, why do you do this to me?
Same.
Like, I'm like completely like, it's not like, so I'm a Hindu, so the God that I know is Lord Shri Ram, Hanuman, and all these. So for me, so I talk to them. Like, I think even I was that kid. Like, since I was a kid, I used to like talk to something, and then feel like, okay, somebody's listening.
Yeah.
Oh, that's, I think, interesting. I found out about you. I thought I was the only mad person.
No. It's not mad. I feel you're all of the same world.
Yeah.
Like, same world manufactured.
Yeah.
That branding is given to us on the bum. I think. Like, okay, Hanuman fans will go this way.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've also been like, if I go through anything, like, Hanuman will be there. He will tell me, and I know what to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all
Interesting.
taken care of.
Moving on to something a little deeper.
Yeah.
Was there a time where you've been through something that you lost yourself? And
Okay.
if you did, how did you come back?
Okay. So, like, the moment, kind of like, when you ask this question, I can't think of anything but this moment, and it was a really dark phase in my life. The year from 2016 to 2017, and hopefully one day, I'm keeping this for myself, the real intricate details of this, but one day, I think the same podcast and the same person, I am going to speak about it. It's something that, that holds so much discomfort even for my parents and my family. But if not for that situation and how I brought myself back, I wouldn't have been here, Hari, speaking to you, and you would think of me to interview. But that's what actually was a big turning point in my life. So this particular situation was this year. Was very painful, and it was like I was walking through that dark tunnel knowing that it's going to be really crazy, in a way that I don't know what's going to happen. But the situations were so that, it took me really long. I think even now I am working on the triggers and the traumas that, that situation, that lifetime, I mean, that life period, that I went through. That 1 year felt like 10 years. Okay. That's how painful that situation was. But, and especially you're coming from a very protective family who's even though my family here is like quite well known, and your heart is here in Hyderabad, and you had to fly down to the US, learn how to drive on the left hand side, situations wherein, I was on the wrong side of the, in India, you're on the other side, right? I was on the wrong side of the road, and, one car is coming so fast at me. And how would you like take turn? Now, these situations are something which is reflex, but there's something else which is more like mental health, that people, were there to damper it every day. Like, I had no one day that was like, okay, I have a day for myself. No, it was in such a this thing that those people or that person was in vengeance to make sure that this girl is not going in 2 piece.
Oh
It's,
my.
I mean, in 1 piece.
Mm.
It was that crazy bad. So that was the time where, mid of um 2017, I was, something just made me feel like enough.
Mm.
I'm done with it, a situation where I was pushed down onto the wall, and they used to tell things like, we will make sure that you will never see the light
Oh
of
my
the day.
God.
Yeah, it was, and I would not understand how could a person or people be that cruel and so much hatred, not just for me, for the world, for the society, for what they were going in their head. They could have probably worked on their mental health. I could have been of some help, but no, this was something that they were fighting, and they thought they saw the world against them. Now this situation is something that you can't do anything
Yeah.
about, but you can only help yourself out of it.
Mm.
That's when probably I would say for me being religious, me being spiritual happened. Like, that's the time I was like, if not for anybody right now, even if I scream and ask for help, nobody's going to come. And in the US,
Yeah.
I think you've heard of that, people don't want to get into another family's fight.
Mm.
They want to keep it as personal.
Yeah.
So I was all by myself going through this shit. Sorry for my language,
No
but
worries.
I just knew nothing but to go, Godwards,
Mm.
like to the universe. And I would just say, like, in my shower, I used to cry.
Mm.
I was not allowed to eat anything. I was asked to lose weight. I was asked to be a certain kind that I wasn't. So this person was trying to just make me be something that I wasn't. That's it. And that one time when I started to cry every day, some kind of a strength came, and I started to, like, mom was like, why don't you do Devi Puja every Friday? On Fridays, I would see these people and this person kind of change their behavior towards me in a nicer way. And that kind of, now from really watching it live, that kind of a proof coming to you, now that one day you're trying to hold on to that power.
Mm.
And now again, like, now not just Hanuman, there's Devi also with you. And that's the only time, when you lose everything, you have nobody,
Mm.
you hold on to that particular thread, like, and then universe just holds you back and
Yeah.
pulls you.
Mm.
That's what happened. And I've always been protected, and made sure I came back to India, worked on my mental health. uh, i I didn't sleep for that whole year.
Oh
My sleep pattern was really, gone.
Mm.
Every day felt so slow. I was like, why am I going through this still? Why can't I get out of it? From why to being like, how can I make this better?
Mhm.
All of this changed, and there was this book that helped me, was The Untethered Soul.
Mhm.
Every question I had, it answered me, and I was like, was this book written for me?
For-
And it was by somebody else. They got it for themselves.
Mm.
And I don't know, I started to read that book, and it really felt like universe was talking to me through that book. That was the only thread I could hold on to myself, and I was feeling like it was not just universe, I had to also hold on to that thread, really tight, that rope really tight, making sure I'm not giving up as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
And I think that just slowly, and now it's almost to a decade, and I built everything by myself, like, whatever I am, whoever I am, even the taboo of going to, it really felt like going to a therapist or a psychologist, like, what will people think?
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't care. I kept saying, like, I want to go, I want to do this.
Mm.
I want to meet the therapist every day. I went to a healer.
Mm.
I worked on hypnosis on myself. There's something called the cord cutting that I did. All of that, even now I go through things, but I can manage.
Mm.
So it's from there to now, it has been a big journey, but I'm so glad I got myself out of it. And that just makes me feel like, see, even if you had people, but they were so far away, you had to be there for yourself.
Yeah.
And only you can pull yourself out of it in
Mm.
whatever situation may be.
Mm.
And as far as you are working as a team with the universe, there's nothing that's going to make you nobody can even pull that tiny hair out of your head. You are always taken care of. So yeah, that belief has never changed. It has only become stronger for me.
I just want to say I'm extremely proud of you.
Thank
I think
you.
it takes a lot of courage to even like come out and talk about
Yeah.
it. And I think it gives a lot of hope to people actually watching this, that because you've actually hit the rock bottom and you've
Yeah.
come out of it.
Yeah.
And I think this is a story of resilience, and I'm extremely proud of you. And I'm so happy that you're here and we're actually doing this.
I'm so proud of myself too. But trust me, if not for you, I don't think I would ever. I mean, I would speak about this openly to people generally, but to come and say it in front of you and the camera, and all of this, I was a little nervous, but just I think since yesterday, I don't know what kind of that strength from nowhere. I had that, like, no, I'm going to talk about it. And though I've just said like a small snippet of it, this makes me feel more stronger in myself.
Yeah.
So I'm more stronger in the belief of that intuition I had, in the belief in myself. If not for us and we not being aware of our power, we would never know what we can be and what we can bring to the table and how we can actually help. You never know, like, you could be somebody which is like the light, right? I was looking for somebody myself at that point of time when I went through, and I would make sure in any way possible that I am this for somebody else, anybody that needs help, because I know what it felt when I had no help. So I think I would not wish this for any woman or anybody, even enemy be it. Nobody should go through that. But if not for this, I wouldn't have been what I am right now. I knew what I'm capable of. I knew how much more I can do in this world. And guess what? I keep that as my this thing, like a measure in my life, that if I could do this, there's
can do
nothing that can stop me
Yeah.
because I came out of that.
Yeah.
So yeah, thank you actually giving me this opportunity to speak
No.
about this.
I feel like this is going to, this is what I do podcast for,
Yeah.
like, people coming out, telling their stories.
Yeah.
I think people listening, like, even if it'll help like one or two people, I think you are the light, like, in this podcast.
In some way, you're helping me be more powerful in myself. You're reminding me, like,
You
when
are powerful,
yeah.
come on.
And so are you. Like, as you're being the pioneer of trying to do this about mental health. I think this has to be, at one point of time, like I said, it was a taboo. And look at us, like,
Yeah.
talking about it right
Yeah.
now, like it is a story, and like, you're talking about where all your milestones. I think we all of us have a story. And I just feel really nice to talk about this.
I'm glad.
Yeah.
Now that we've gotten comfortable, cozy.
I love this. This just feels like a hug.
Yeah. Do you
Yeah.
want to talk about backstabbing in teenage years?
Oh yes, I think this position now just makes it for the question. Yes. I guess I don't know, but every woman goes through that, and somehow I don't know. I'm not trying to profess that people should do this, but I've been backstabbed by my best friend.
Oh my God.
Friends.
Oh.
Yeah, a lot of them. But I can understand them. I sympathize them, or I'm like, okay, I understand. They are not like me. I am the most loyal friend, or the loyal. I wish I have a friend like me. I'm very, very not proud. I'm very happy to be a person like that. So yeah, hopefully I can get to marry the male version of me.
Yeah.
Someday. But yeah, I've been backstabbed. That really felt like a heartbreak. Every woman's first heartbreak definitely will be with a best friend. And it was quite nasty. And they've been very toxic. So they come from a very big influential family. I went to the school that, all the actors and big industrialists and all these people. I'm not going to say the name of the school. Whoever knows me knows me.
Okay.
I hated my school. But yeah, people are not nice. Especially they came from not too great family background or in terms of toxicity. So yeah, it was quite ugly. And the worst is your family gets to know, and then
Wow.
they kind of tease you like later in your life. Oh, this person, like,
We're
oh,
not friends
your best
anymore.
friend has come, and I'm like, I
Yeah.
just hate that this thing. But yeah, there's no way you can get out of that situation in life. But what about you? I want to know more. Like, did you go through anything like that?
So when I was in school, I was like this. I was very like this gang leader. Like I used to have like a
Same,
group
bro.
of friends, and I had people who hated me. Okay, and I loved that. Like I was like, yes, I will prove you. I'll give you more like reasons to.
You're
hate
made
me.
for Instagram then.
Yeah, I'm literally
Hate
like.
comments? Better. The
Yeah,
more
yeah,
hate comments, the
yeah.
better the content
Yeah,
is.
I'm like, hate me. And it somehow used to make me feel so important. Like, there are a few other girls coming and hating on me. Like, I used to play tennis, and then there was this one girl who was always like, Hari is so like, she thinks she's this thing. I was like, yeah, like, what is your problem? I feel like that. So, she used to come to me, she came to me, I was playing. She was like, Hari, I have one question for you. She comes to me, like, are you even a human being? Karke she asked me. I said, no. And then she just walks off. So, they try to like come to me and then like bring me down.
Yeah.
One of my friends calls me and she was like, Hari, one girl told, like one of our friends told me, you're like this.
Yeah.
That time I got little wisdom, okay? So I was like, okay, that's her opinion. I respect it. What about it now? I did not even let things affect me. I think I come across, like I was very like self proud. I don't know how to say that. And that like saved me from many of these situations. Like if I know that somebody's trying to put me down, I'm gonna be like, it'll not affect me. You can try to put me down, but I'm not gonna be affected by it. I was like that kind of a kid. So I was a good friend. Like all my friends love me. I was like a really good friend. But I never gave anybody the chance to like, because I was very proud of myself.
Like walk all over you. You never gave them a chance to, them to come and tell you what you're supposed to do and not do.
Yeah.
I think, if I start telling you my situations, it'll become such a goss.
Yeah.
I have, like, I can't imagine, like, the girl really was 2-timey and 3-timey. And, I had to probably save her ass most times. And then I'm like, why am I doing this? She will go through some situation in life, and that was probably the reason when she did something to me and like put me down. But I always had like best guy friends. I think in my house, they have seen more of guy friends come on my birthday parties than girlfriends. And they used to be like, hey, like, she doesn't have girlfriends or what. Like, I always wanted at least one best friend or girlfriend, and that's why I probably created my own this thing. Probably we'll get to that later. I will speak about it. But I've had the best guy friends around me, and they are somebody who's like, they're very chill. The chill bro, and I was very little tomboyish also. So I used to have fun with them. Later point of time, like when 9th and 10th happens, is when ugly fights happen. People start fighting for boys and all. And I was never into it. Yeah, I was like, why would you fight for a boy? You want to fight for marks and all? That also felt weird. 94, 95 people also. I'm like, whatever. But silly situations just would make me feel like this person is so. I don't know if you're ever going to marry, but by the way, she got married to that guy only. She went around with every other person, later got married to that guy only. I'm like, people are fool. They're fighting and taking teams and all that. But backstabbing, good for me that even though it was very ugly, she is not in my life anymore.
Good.
and now I'm very good at cutting people off. This person is not good for me. I communicate to them 1-2 times. After that, I'm vanished.
Yeah.
And that person never comes in my life anymore. So that backstabbing thing somehow, again.
In me, like they backstab me and they come back into my life too. Like everybody like comes back into my life and I'm like, what? And then the thing with me is I forget, okay? Like you backstab me after like 2-3 months, I forget. And when they come, I'm like, okay, fine, sorry, all good. And then I'm just normal. So everybody who backstab me always comes back and I'm like, leave me alone. Like, now I don't
I know
like
I'm
you
that
at all.
good, but like, it's enough.
Yeah.
Little bit of dose of Hari is enough. You don't take too much from me now.
Yeah, now I cut them
Yeah.
off, like after like giving so many chances like that. Like even in school, when we first joined, there was this one girl who now calls me her best friend. So she calls me her best friend, I don't.
Ouch.
So she made everybody against her, saying, see Hari, see. I don't know, I just never spoke to her, nothing, but she just created this thing of people against me. And what happened was, like, all of the girls were sitting on one side and all of us moved to the other side. Everybody left her, everybody came with me on the other side. She was the only girl sitting there.
Yeah.
So this is like a lesson to like girls, like, don't hate on others without any reason, because at the end of the day your true colors will be seen and people will go to the actual person who's good. And then I actually went to her. She was like, oh, will you also ignore me like the other people? I said, no, don't worry, I'm not like other girls, you can come there. I actually brought her into my friends group.
Yeah.
So that happened.
The school, oh my god.
Like, if we can just go on and on.
That's why I said like it'll become one gossip session.
Yeah.
Wherein we probably have to take 3 more hours out of this and just talk about this.
Okay. So now let's move on to another one. Moving on to a little interesting and like a fun topic.
Yes.
Relationships. So what's your take on the current modern relationships? There is a lot that's going on. There are a lot of apps. There is a lot of accessibility. There is a lot that's going on. So what's your take on it?
First off, I mean, the apps are, I feel like it's such a great thing because when you are like going through the apps and all that, it's good. Like you're filtering out whatever you need. You don't have to go through that awkward moment. Fling, situationships, and all of that is all good. It's all, I think they should, like, you do you, bro.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like whatever that you are, and this is how you would probably like to bond with people, do it that way. But as far as you're not hurting anybody, so I will not say like I am old school, I'm modern or whatever. For me, what matters is how aware we are of ourselves, and how much are we okay to like be with that person. And people keep saying, oh, she's my better half, he's my better half. It doesn't go to my head, because if you're a half, you're a fraction, right? So when that person is not there, you're literally always a half all your life. I don't understand that. I like to work on myself wholly, and I feel like there has to be a partner who's a whole, and in entirety they are good and they're not triggering you or giving you more trauma for that what you already have. You're just getting the best versions of each other, be it however old school, modern, fling, situationship. I didn't even know that dating and seeing is different, but good, like whatever floats your boat. But just let people be. Don't kind of force into whatever. That is something that I don't like in the modern relationship. Whereas it has become more accessible.
Yeah, they're moving on from one person. They're not taking time to like at least like work on like what happened.
Yeah.
No, one is done.
Yeah, it's like rebound
Yeah.
on rebound. What have you learned from the last relationship? What is it that you don't like? Because we humans, we keep changing. Our likes change.
Yeah.
At one point of time, you like bhendi, like you like okra, and now you don't like it. So this is same. Like you have to know that you keep evolving. That is one thing. But what, according to you, what about you?
this is what, like, moving on like very quickly is something that I don't really understand.
Yeah.
And like, since I was a kid, I was like, I was having these imaginations. I'll have my man, I love
Same.
him, and then that
That's
used
my
to be
dream.
my escape.
It was
Like,
my dream, yeah.
I was like I used to look forward to sleeping, because that used to be my
Aw.
escape of like, oh, somebody will come, and I used to be like, oh, and then I'll get mad at him, and then he'll come and he'll pamper me, or like he'll do this. I used to be in that
For
dreamland.
me, I don't even have to sleep. I'm daydreaming. I'm like, oh, this person will come in my life. And you know, as a kid, I used to tell my PT teacher, please don't take me to, and he's a Malayali, I'm a Malayali, right? I used to talk in Malayalam. I would be like, sir, I don't want to do this. I'll just sit on the side. I would sit. In my games period, I'm
Daydreaming.
Even in my class also, I'm daydreaming like this. So, the 90s songs are all into daydreaming. Wherever you see a girl daydreaming,
Yeah.
I know it is me. Like, it's like that. Like, I feel like, oh, that character is me.
Yeah.
So, one, like, I loved daydreaming, and it was my dream to marry, have
Yeah.
kids, have this husband who's taking care of me, pampering me.
Yeah,
One.
yeah.
But the worst thing that I hate is probably cheating.
Yeah.
How people are so like, oh, just they're cheating on each other. And I'm not just talking about men. I've seen women cheating
I've
on men, and I feel so sad for
Yeah.
men. It's just like, it's not fair for them,
Yeah.
like, to go through that. It's equally not fair for a woman to go through it. I think cheating is like a no-no for me.
Yeah, and now it has become the standard, but it's a bare minimum, like not cheating. I'm like, but he doesn't cheat, but he, not cheating is the
Yeah.
bare minimum, bro. Like,
Yeah.
what do you mean? Like, I will say never get into a relationship with someone until you know that see, you do whatever you want when you're not with someone,
Yeah.
right? But when you are with someone, if you don't have the maturity to stay with that person, then don't.
Yeah.
And that maturity right now though is lacking in
Yeah.
everybody, because
Yeah.
everybody's like, oh my god, I'm gonna marry you, I'm gonna do this.
Yeah.
And when it comes to marrying that person,
Yes.
they're like, oh, but then I know you're like this.
Yeah.
I know you're like, I'm like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
So people are not fighting for love.
Yeah.
They're just like, if it's easy, it's easy.
Yeah.
And it has become very transactional. Oh,
Oh,
my
yeah.
god. So transactional. It's all about like, how much is he earning? Where does he live? What does he do? I'm like,
I'm
"Ye
sorry.
kya hai?"
Yeah, I'm sorry to put this across, but marriage is no less. It has become like two families being, having a
Yeah.
business transaction or
Yeah.
something like that. Sorry to say that, but I really hope that relationships and marriage go in such a way that you get into a relationship, you find about each other, or be live-in or whatever. Find about each other. What do you like? Is this person that you will deal with all your life? That person is the only person you're going to be with. Your parents, your sister, your siblings, your friends, they have a different life of their own. This person, you're going to get up with them, sleep,
Sleep with them.
eat, whatever. This person is going to be breathing under your neck. So
yeah.
you have to be okay with everything. So just please, like, all of these fads and trends work only if you want to just keep moving forward, and like, this card comes today, okay, tomorrow who's the card? Do all of that if you want to, but understand when you're getting into a relationship, this is two people work. And it is an everyday work.
Every day, every second. Because imagine living with somebody for, most of your life. You will tend to hate that person one time or the other.
Yeah.
We can't be like, oh, he did this, so I'm going to leave. No.
Yeah.
You can't just leave. You have
Yeah.
to work on things. Like, if you spend like most of the time together, you will inevitably not like some things. That doesn't mean that you will leave the person.
Yeah.
So I think at one shot of like, oh, he did that, so he's a red. I see so many on Instagram, like 5 points of like, you found that, bro.
No. That's
Why are you spoiling people's mind? It's not a checklist.
Yeah.
It's a feeling.
Yeah, and if you want to buy a car, you want to go to a restaurant, how much you research on it? All of that you want to be perfect. You don't want to know anything about your partner, who you're probably going to be around with, or even sleep around, or whatever. You don't want to. It's like you're getting into an auto and getting out of an auto. If that is a relationship, I don't know where the world is going to go. But that is one crazy thing that about modern relationship, if I have to pinpoint.
Yeah, that's good. I think both of us are aligned on this.
Thank God. Thank God for that.
Yeah. So, are you ready for another compliment?
Oh, yes.
I love your sari. And I've been seeing your journey of like starting your own brand, Vijayashree, and
Yeah.
I'm really curious to know more about it
Yeah.
because when I first met you, you said that you are trying to do something
Yeah.
with Indian textiles, and
Yes.
you're really interested in that.
Yes.
So I really want to know how that journey started and more about it.
Yeah. So, how do I say this? I feel so like green in my heart whenever I want to talk about my brand, and I'm so glad I feel that. So, my brand is called Vijayashree. It's a very old school name, but I had a rebirth moment. I rebranded it. Shloka label was what it was called before. And if I could pinpoint something where we went back into life from childhood and all, I used to be very scared when somebody used to call me Shloka, my name. Like, did I do something? So that fear kind of stuck into that name, okay, like Shloka. Then I'm like, oh. So Shloka label, like people love my name a lot. But Vijayashree is something that my grandpa gave me. This is the grandpa that I have, like, he's not my own. I just knew him, and then I'm just fond of him. So I told him, can you just give me one name from that just resonates with me? And he just said Vijaya, and that's what people call me at home right now. And it was taken out of Lalita Sahasranamam, and that is Devi. And I told you how Devi came into my life. So that women power, that women divine feminine, that was what I needed. And he was like, let me just put masculine and feminine for you. So Shri is something which is Vishnu, and Vijaya is again Devi. So that together is Vijaya Shri. So it's a very old school household name to making me now do actually what I love is to live in nostalgia. So anything that is that reminds me of my mom, and she's my role model. Anything that you see, the way I've draped my sari, or how that flip comes, like that is all me kind of looking at my mom. And I started to like take that into me, and it just became my character. But she's someone who actually got this whole fashion for me. And as chiffon is also her favorite, and I can't think of anything else other than chiffon. So nostalgia direct went to that Garden Vareli saris, or those saris that my mom used to wear when I was, even she still wears it now. And I would tell her when she's coming to that parent teacher meeting, I'll be like, Mummy, wear sari and come. And she used to look like the most beautiful lady, walking into, and she knows she's owned it. So that is exactly what I have, and in my head as a persona for Vijayashree, and that's my alter ego. And she is the girl of my age, but in the 90s. And how would she look like? And in no this thing, I can't even think of anybody else. That's what I feel for myself. I look my, like, the character, the image I have of myself is like her. So Rekha, and like my mom loved Amitabh Bachchan. And when Amitabh Bachchan's movie used to come, she would go kiss on the TV, okay? And I'm like, you're cheating on my dad, I would say that. And she would think of herself as Rekha. And everything now, every time I watch their movies, I can't think of anybody else. Like Rekha was such a epitome. She's like the iconic, not drama queen. She's the queen. When you talk about nostalgia or saris or fashion, I can't think of anybody. So I just wanted to make that. I just wanted to make my mom's wardrobe, my wardrobe, open for people to come and shop from. And I'm not qualified fashion designer. I'm an interior designer by profession, but design, that Kida was in me, and I wanted to just create that for me. This is my dream and it's my passion. So this is for my selfishness that I have my brand. But what really just stood for me was saris. Like, because I was going through a lot of body image issues since a child. Like, I was a child, like I was never feeling, I was very conscious of my body. This one um clothing that can help you be of any shape you want to, and I don't want to say forgiving, it's just, it loves you, it makes you come out of the crowd, it takes your flaws together. And I also learned that we women are supposed to expose our mid section. It's for us to actually have the energy. And how did we not know of this?
Okay.
So I was like, it's so beautiful, and if not for our culture, I don't know, I can't think of anything else. So sari was the thing for me. That's how sari started, and yeah, I don't want to be sounding like, my brand, but this is something that I would probably start off to say about my brand.
That's very interesting, and I think yeah, sari and womanhood and all of that is so like divine.
Yeah.
You mentioned one interesting point about your alter ego.
Yeah.
Can we get more insights on that? Like, what do you think your alter ego is like, and how is that? How did that shape Vijayashree?
Uh, I think she is the one that holds the confidence in me. So, from Shloka, when that Vijayashree came to me, I really feel that's my name. Like I told you, Shloka was not that. I don't feel disconnected. I feel like she was the young side of me.
Scary.
Yeah, like fearful, naive, and like the baby. My inner child, I probably would name her as Shloka. Vijayashree is what I am right now. So, there are people who thought, like, call me Vijayashree also, and I am so glad to even take that as a name. And I feel like the confident girl, that you see in the 90s ads also, like the Lux girl, that this girl. Like, I feel the Vijayashree girl. Like, I feel I fit into that character so well. Um, in how would I be in the 90s? I'm sure I would look so beautiful. Like my house is all like all drapes, and how I don't know how to say this to you. Like the army or the what do you call that? Cantonment area. How the Fauji wives would be. She's taking care of the kids nicely, and she's so confident of herself. She's so fit. She's so wise. That's her, and that's what I feel for myself, and I'm becoming that as well. Yeah, that's my alter ego, and you will see. Okay, one day you will come to my home studio and my house. You will see that alter ego as my home studio. Yeah, and I've created everything which is 90s and nostalgic. And my home is very much of another side that probably I want to just stay in. But this alter ego is out there to, speak for herself, voice out, be the most confident she is, and also bringing the platform for other women to be like, you should be yourself, like, and wearing the crown on your head with your nose up high, and not being arrogant though. Yeah.
On that note, like, was sari date? So I really loved the sari date that you did the first time. I was like, it's so beautiful. Was that also a product of your alter ego? And how did sari date happen? Because that was very new and refreshing for me to see.
Oh my God, yes. And I was myself shocked because it was out of, these were the things that I wanted to do is what I thought, but it blew up on Instagram and have million views of, on it. And I think more than 1 million. And I still get, women complimenting the women in the sari date reel, and they keep saying, I like the first one, I like the third and fourth, and it just makes me feel so good. And that's exactly why I wanted to start it. That we women we are like, how the forest is, every tree is connected, they have an underground connection. And if one woman is feeling low, there is this big support system that will come for you, like I told you about, my teenage time and everything. If not for us, I think that connection, that support system, that ecosystem will not, like, even the world or this universe or the tangible things that you're seeing right now will not work if not for us women. So that was my take on why I wanted to do a sari date. Was for the first time I wanted people to wear saris, talk about their culture, where they come from, how did they know saris, and how much they can talk about it. And if not for us from India, dude, and especially like us seeing our parents even wear saris for their as like, when they're going to sleep. I've seen so many aunties who would wear their night dress sari for sleep, and I'm like, why are we thinking it's so difficult to, wear it and go? Other than us, who's going to talk now? People from other countries are talking about yoga and
Yeah,
ayurveda and all
yeah.
that, yeah. And now they're going to wear saris and teach us how we are supposed to wear saris, and that'll be a shame on us if that happens. Before that happens, I wanted to do that, and I was thinking that I should make this as a moment where we will go, we will wear whatever we want in saris, and we will do all those things if we want to do. Go on a date with our girls, be even if possible run, wear saris and run. I think we've seen a few people do that, like
Marathons and
yeah,
stuff, yeah.
marathons, yeah. Milind Soman did that
Yeah.
with his pancha and his the t-shirt. I think it's the most beautiful, versatile clothing piece that you can ever wear. So sari date, I am going to do that. I'm like, every few months is going to happen. Just working on it, yeah.
Yeah. And what I love about the sari date is they just wear sari casually, right?
Yes.
It's not like, oh, you have to get ready, you have to
No.
have this. They're just casually like
Yeah.
how you said it's nostalgia for you,
Yeah.
like how in olden days, like all our grandparents probably would just go out, sit and just talk
Yeah.
to the women outside.
Yeah.
It's simply like that. It's just that we don't have the space like that, but we are just meeting somewhere.
Yeah.
Just like coming out of our houses and then just for like a chat.
Absolutely.
I think that's really beautiful.
Yeah. I told them to wear the jacket. If they want to wear a crop top, wear shoes, whatever. But make sure you're wearing a sari. Yeah. And what better than actually, that's also a different point on speaking about support system. So now the more and more we are meeting, every sari date, the last time we met, they also want to come with other people. Like they are like already new people are coming. Other than that, these people, they're like, they don't want to miss it. So I know so many of my friends who still want to keep coming back, and I have so many other things to talk about. Like I want to sit and weave veni, which is like a garland for ourselves. Like I will make one for you.
Oh,
You
wow.
make for your friend, whoever's there, and then we will sit and we'll put mehendi for each other. We will learn how to probably knit. Something that what people used to do before. We are losing out on culture and what we used to do before. Now we just started with the cafe, but we will slowly integrate a lot more Indianness and desiness to it, along with adding more of culture, things that we forgot to do. Even now, you don't even see people putting muggu outside.
Yeah.
And their own, probably like their maid servants will do it. Before it used to be us. So yeah, things like that.
Very nice.
Yeah.
And if Vijay Shri, like I've understood like the philosophy behind it, like what you're trying to do. Absolutely beautiful.
Thank you.
I think any brand that has a story to tell
Yeah.
is a brand that will stay on.
Yeah.
It's not just like, oh, I just want to do this or anything. And if your brand had a mental health philosophy,
Yeah.
what would it be?
I think you're very good at quotes. I would actually want you to give me something. What do you think? I really like what you have. Actually, I want you to read out what's there in the backside of your thing, which
So this I randomly came across when I was doing my first podcast, where I said that the world is made for me, I am not made for the world.
Yeah.
So I somehow believe this, that I first of all believe everything is magic around me.
Yeah.
And if somehow I'm put into this
Yeah.
universe, it's because somebody wanted me here,
Yeah.
not because I wanted to be here.
Yeah.
Like I feel like the entire thing, like everything around me is made for me to enjoy.
absolutely beautiful.
And if we actually look at life this way,
Yeah.
we feel like we are here to actually experience the things that are around us,
Yeah.
not the other way around.
Yeah.
So that is my philosophy in life.
Yeah.
And if that suits you, then
I actually have two things. One is I keep saying that we are stories waiting to be told. I think all of us have so much to speak. That is one. But that is about the mental. I don't know how much of a mental health of it aspect is.
I
How do
think telling our stories is a form of like, releasing our
Yes.
feelings and all of that. And I think that's a good.
And not being shamed of any emotion that comes.
Yeah.
And being said, I really feel that we pick fashion very stereotypically of what society wants you to wear, or oh, this looks good. But I feel you wear your personality. It should not. It should be the other way around. The clothes don't tell
Define.
you who you
Yeah.
are or define who you
Yeah.
are. Rather, you are the ones that actually pick the right kind of clothes, or the clothes. How do I say? Like, the personality is what makes the clothes,
Yeah.
and that speaks out more about you, right? So that is one aspect when coming from that body image issues to being confident, to coming being like, no, you know, when you're feeling low, you're feeling sad, I want to pick something which is comfortable for me. And if you pick Vijayashree at that point of time, I'm happy. And if you're feeling the most, you want to feel celebrated and you're celebrating something, on that day you're feeling this, think of Vijayashree. But here, I probably might sound, I am kind of plugging in, but even be it anything, I feel like when it comes to fashion and your body image and your confidence, all of it, like, that fashion is just like kind of a very decorative door, okay? But I feel you need to wear yourself so confidently, be it whatever that is, just wear yourself so confidently that another person feels like, oh my god, this particular thing looks good on you. You should just be like, I made it look good, not the other way around. So yeah, I would probably slightly speak about fashion and your body image issue as like the mental health thing, that people should not define through your clothes. They should define you through your personality, and that should probably be, your fashion should be like kind of an accessory to that. Yeah.
Lovely.
But there's this big point that I want to make. Um, what are you without authenticity? Like, if you can't be your authentic self, you can't carry yourself so comfortably in your own skin, then what is fashion for, right? And that's what it is for us women. We, most our clothes, not most, I think few of our clothes definitely make us very uncomfortable, but it makes us look beautiful. But there are times wherein, like, oh, you know, my thigh is showing, is my cleavage showing, or am I mean, even if it does, how do you own up to yourself and how authentic do you feel? That's the whole point about fashion, right? And especially want to highlight on that part on fashion, and how it has to be for you and your personality, and how is it making you shine. Is it dulling your movement? Are you able to, like, just be out there like, oh, I mean, right now I feel like Shushmita Sen and that Kal Ho Na Ho, where she was walking and that,
Yeah,
you
the
know,
music is
yeah,
coming.
and then Shah Rukh Khan just falls like that. That's how you should feel in however, whatever you're wearing. And that's what I feel for saris. And yeah, I mean, if you can't be that, then what is fashion for you?
Yeah.
Yeah. That probably is the point that I would want to speak: fashion, mental health, and Vijayashree. And if Vijayashree could be that for you, you know, I've already made my passion that you know, I'm on the right direction. So I think
So
that's what it is.
nice. It's like you are for fashion. Fashion is not for you. Like
Yeah.
you choose your fashion.
Yeah.
You choose your fashion.
Your
Like,
personality just makes everything. Fashion is just an accessory.
yeah, true.
Yeah.
Lovely. Love it.
Yes.
And I wish you all the success with Vijay Shri.
Thank
And
you.
yeah, I really hope, like, I'm pretty sure like most of the people are like loving it. So seen the sari date, like how amazing it was. So I wish you all the success for Vijay Shri.
Next time you're not missing my sari date. You're
Yeah,
going to
sure.
come, be part of it. And we speak everything about mental health also. That is given. We if not for that, you know, we are nothing, right? And that's more important, and that's what you're doing. So next sari date, I'm going to see you.
Sure.